Another edition of the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. It's July 2nd, 2020. A great day today. Joined alongside Gavin Tony, my co-host. Gavin, another great day to have you on. How you doing today?
Doing doing great, man. We had for those that didn't know, me and Zach, we literally raced home, got everything set up in I want to say under 10 minutes.
Give or take, it's less time than we usually get. So we're advancing. We're learning how to work under pressure. We're getting better at it. So whatever we can do to provide the great viewers, the great content that we provide every single day.
Heck yeah, you ready, brother?
I am very ready. Very exciting show for everyone out there today. I know we had a very great show yesterday. Our debate today is going to be pretty good as well. For those who didn't have an opportunity to watch yesterday's show, it ended by me telling Gavin that the Detroit Lions are winning the NFC North. We're going to hold off on that for now. We're going to continue that conversation. But just as a reminder to our viewers, yes, we're going to continue that discussion. Obviously, the GOAT debate as well, and all the other conversations we love to have. So let's get started with it. We're going to talk first about the Sixers. And so it does say Sixers drama. We don't know if it's really drama, but there's some stuff. Yeah, Brett Brown was interviewed yesterday. He was speaking with the media. He was talking about a lot of questions answered. So a few key things to point out. We're going to break down each one of these topics. Ben Simmons is 100%. Joel Embiid's working out 6 days a week. And finally, can this team live up to the hype? So, Gavin, I'm going to let you go first. Let's start with the Ben Simmons situation. When asked about it, Brett Brown said he is 100% and good to go. Gavin, do you buy it?
I do buy it. Look, before the season started, Ben Simmons was actually already out. So Ben Simmons had more time off than what every other NBA player in the restart is going to go through. Him and Giannis had the same amount of time off. So I think him being 100% is the truth. Joel Embiid working out 6 days a week. I don't know. I'm skeptical on that. I mean, I know I got a Joel Embiid shirt on right now. Today I know you guys can't see it, but I'm not going to lie. I'm skeptical because we know Joel Embiid can work out right, but is he eating right? Is he eating healthy? Last year, Joel Embiid was not healthy in the playoffs. He looked tired. He looked gassed. He looked everything, all of the above. So, Zach, my question for you. So before I ask you my question, you said, can they contend? The question is, can they contend for finals this year? I still believe that Brett Brown is the problem in the Sixers altogether, and also lack of shooting. This team does not shoot the ball well. Ben Simmons just started shooting, and I think the keys to winning the finals this year, I think, in my opinion, for the Sixers would be one, Ben Simmons' health, and can he go back to the level of play he was before he went out, and two, Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid as a whole. I'm not talking about his health. Well, his health always is a main concern for us, but I'm also talking about Joel Embiid, the production he's going to give out. Remember, it's been a good 2-3 months, you would say, Zach? March 11th to now?
I'd say so. Almost about the same time as what the offseason is.
So basically, you guys got to think about it. Like, that's a lot of things can go away in the offseason. Yes, they're NBA players, but remember, your jump shot, your form, your feel, that can go away too. Your and more like physicality and physicalness to be ready. You understand when teams get booted from the playoffs, they go through this whole phase where they're not eating right, all this thing, or they're just not healthy or not working out. Remember, gyms and stuff were closed, so now these guys got to race back into shape, which, in my personal opinion, isn't healthy. But it's not as bad as UFC fighters cutting weight. But my question for you, Zach, is where do you feel like the Sixers rank in the chance of going to the finals? Everybody has the same chance.
Yeah, so I'm going to circle back to that first point about rushing back into health. A lot of these guys, fortunately, do have personal gyms. Ironically, Giannis does not even have a basketball net at his house. It's rather interesting. But tracing it back to that point as far as racing to get healthy, this is why you get the full month. This is why teams are going down early next week. They're going to Orlando next week for the quarantine period's over. They're going down to Orlando, getting tested again, and then they're going to have a preseason in a way. I don't know if they're going to be playing full games, but you can't go from just working out on your own and playing 5-on-5 full court, almost playoff basketball. For teams like Portland, for teams like New Orleans, it's kind of unfair, but they also put themselves in that situation. But talking about as far as getting back into shape, these guys should, for the most part, be in shape. I do buy Embiid's working out 6 days a week. I don't buy he's going to be productive on the court yet. He is the best center when healthy, when trying. It's two things, when healthy and when trying. He has to try. There's no fancy for the energy, nothing like that. So second question you asked me, Gavin, where did the Sixers rank? I'll give you my current ranks as far as the teams I think that legitimately win the NBA Finals. I'll start with number one. I'll go with the Lakers and then the Clippers. I put them pretty hand in hand with each other. I think that's a safe assumption. Both teams are potentially losing a few key players. Avery Bradley and potentially Patrick Beverly might not be going, but we'll figure out some of that before they all travel down officially.
Bills not going?
There's rumors of that, but he mentioned before that if LeBron's going, we're going, so he's probably going to go. Maybe Lou will, who also was on the fence. But there's could be any shockers. I'm just being open to it, acknowledging that there could be shockers. J.R. Smith went to the Lakers, but Clippers and Lakers 1 and 2. I put them there. The Bucks are obviously at number 3.
Yeah.
And the 4th spot, I'd give Boston. Boston is the best positional team in the league. When I say positional, I mean your point guard's a playmaker, your shooting guard's a shooter, your small forward's ball dominant, your power forward gets boards and can put the ball back up, and your center is a role player. That, in my opinion, is the perfect NBA team, and the Boston Celtics have that. Now, I still don't think that they can win a championship. I don't think they're great enough to do that. They do have Marcus Smart off the bench. If they still had Marcus Morris off the bench, I think they would be a legitimate contender, but they're number 4 for me. And then maybe number 5, I put the Sixers at. I think that's a fair comparison. I'm currently pulling up the Western Conference standings, but I think the Sixers are currently the 5th best team to win it. I think talent-wise, they have some of the talent. I think coaching-wise, they're not really there. But I also think most importantly, you have to really factor in some of the other elements. Like maybe they're resting during the season, and the playoffs are really going to try hard. And then now I'm going to circle back here at where I think like 6 and 7. I'm looking at – I mean, it's tough because the teams that are left are the Nuggets, the Jazz, the Thunder, the Rockets, the Mavericks, the Grizzlies. In the Western Conference, then the Pacers, the Raptors in the East that are legitimate. I put the Rockets at 6, so I put the Sixers right above the Rockets. The Sixers can do it. They can't get out of the second round, apparently. And it's not going to shock me if they get taken out in the second round again. But that's where I put them, Gavin. I put them at 5, and I put Boston ahead of them, too. And I don't know who wins in this series, Boston or Philly, but I think it's hard to say, like, okay, they match up well against Boston. They could beat Boston, but Boston's still a better team in the contracts as far as how far they can go in the playoffs. So those are my thoughts as far as where I put the Sixers at. Gavin, how do you think about that?
Well, first of all, I agree with you on that. You can't give the Sixers higher because, lack of shooting and not the greatest coaching. But you can't put them any lower because, remember, the talent is still there. Now, for me personally, I think the Clippers are the number 1 favorite to win. I think maybe the Milwaukee Bucks might be number 2. And then LeBron James and the Lakers at number 3. Boston sitting at the head at the 4th spot. And 5 the Sixers. But let me tell you why I think the Lakers are number 3. Now, before the comment section comes in here telling me, oh, it's because the GOAT debate, you don't like what Zach says about LeBron, that's not why. You got to look about the talent that's around LeBron James and Anthony Davis. It's nothing much. You got to look at the Clippers. The Clippers, Pat Bev goes, that's a great defender. Montrezl Harrell is still there. You got Kawhi Leonard, obviously. Paul George, obviously. You got Lou Will off the bench, Mr. Sixth Man. Probably is going to win it again this year. You got Landry Shaman. They're built, and they got one of the Morris brothers. I think it's Marcus Morris. So you got to look at it and be like, well, wait a minute. These guys kind of have, like what you said, they have a lot of role players. They don't have like a lot of position. They have a lot of role players, and they're a really good defensive team. You look at the Bucks. First of all, Giannis is a freak of nature, and they did one thing well around Giannis was surrounded by shooters, right? You surround Giannis by shooters. He drives and kicks out. You got Chris Middleton, who's arguably underrated. He made All-Star game, I think this year and last year. I'm not too sure. I think so. And Chris Middleton can shoot the ball as well. You got Eric Bledsoe if he's healthy, and when healthy, he's actually a great point guard. I think top 20. Also too, you got a lot of shooters around them. You got Brook Lopez still. So it's a great team. Now let me get to another point. This is why I don't like the Lakers. I think you could argue make the case saying that the Boston Celtics, but there's some things about Boston that I don't like that can put them over the Lakers. But like you said, Zach, they got primary players and they also got a role-playing center. All right? They got a 7'7" guy named Taco Falls that I think unfairly you can't guard. You had to put Joel Embiid on your shoulders, or Judge has to put someone on his shoulders just to contest it. So, having said all that, the Sixers, Brett Brown, I think in the lack of shooting, you can't make them any higher than that, right? I think that's the only thing that holds them back. We said the same thing last year, and I said the same thing again. So let me go to this. I think the Houston Rockets are 6, but what about the? So you say Denver Nuggets, right? At 7, or did you not get there?
I didn't get there. I put Toronto at 7. I'll put Toronto there before Denver.
I kind of want to go with the Nuggets at 7, or maybe the Heat at 7. you never know. Jimmy Butler and the boys, they play really great defense, and they came on the scene nowhere. Bam Adebayo had a really great season, and I'll never forget. Everybody thinks Eric Spoelstra is not an elite coach. He is. You can make the case saying, he had LeBron and D Wade and Chris Bosh and not Kyle Korver, Mikey Miller and Ray Allen and Mario Chalmers, who I think was underrated and was a big part of the team. But it's what he did after that. They still been to the playoffs after the aftermath of that team. When D Wade left, they still went to the playoffs with Gordon Dragic and everybody else and Hassan Whiteside. So I think Eric Spoelstra and needs to be in the conversation of maybe coach of the year or something. Because look, if you look at that team on paper, you say, how the heck did you guys make playoffs? How the heck are you guys that high in the playoffs?
It's a good question. Miami's a great team. They struck gold a few times. They said you can't win the lottery twice. They did. And I'll tell you how. First of all, they got Jimmy Butler. Fantastic free agent acquisition, especially for the playoffs, especially for a young team. They have Bam Adebayo, who broke out significantly this year, and that's one of the factors that you really can't look at and say, okay, like one or the other. You have Duncan Robinson, who's been consistent for the team, and he's a role player. And then you have Kendrick Nunn, undrafted, really would have been a first rounder. He did some off-the-court issues. They took a chance on him and succeeded. And then you have Tyler Hero, who is Tyler Hero is coming off the bench, and he was a fantastic rookie this year. Very confident shooter, very good shooter. I wish the Sixers would have gotten him. And then you have a few other guys off your bench. The one small forward who won the dunking competition. I'm sorry, I can't.
Derrick Jones. Derrick
Jones Jr. So he's a small forward for them. And I think it's a really well put together team. If you have Butler and Kendrick Nunn in the backcourt, you let Jimmy handle the ball when it matters the most. That's a team that, unlike Minnesota, understands Jimmy and gives the ball to Jimmy and says, Jimmy, you lead the way, and we'll do what you tell us to do. And that's one that you can give credit to Eric Spoelstra for that. You can give credit for the front office for doing a great job in the acquisition of that entire team this season. They're not mature enough for a deep run yet. They remind me of the Sixers 2 years ago when they lost to Boston in the second round when they were red hot after beating the Heat. But I think, in all honesty, they do need one more year to grow before I can really name them a legit contender. And so I still would put Toronto above them just because those players do have deeper experience, even though they don't have Kawhi Leonard.
Real quick, I want to say this. If there's a time where the Sixers need to go to the finals or something, or make it or have a chance to go, this might have to be the year. And here's why. I know lack of shooting and coaching, but think about it. Everybody's at 0. Okay? Everybody hasn't played since you played. Ben Simmons a little bit longer, same thing with Giannis Antetokounmpo. You know what I mean? Yep. The playing field is so even, and also you don't got to worry about going to any stadium. Everybody is away. No one's home. You know what I mean? So there's a time where the Sixers need to go to the finals or at least try to make it to the Eastern Conference. This is this year. Everybody's on the same playing field. Everybody's 0-0. There's no home court advantage. This is the time. There's the East is weak as always. There's no KD or Kyrie to worry about this year. All you got to worry about is Kemba and Giannis and Boston Celtics and Giannis. And then there's you guys. I think the Sixers are the top 3 best team in the East.
No, you're not wrong. Talent-wise, they should be up there with the Bucks and Celtics. I don't disagree with you at all on that. So here's my question for you. Which player is the biggest X factor for the Sixers in this postseason?
I think it's Ben Simmons. But I can't say just one. I think it's a duo for these guys. I think it's Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. You got to take it back to what these were when the year they made it to the playoffs. You got to remember, these guys are balling together. These guys had, I want to say, this special connection where they were able to coexist with one another. Now that Ben Simmons has a jump shot, I think Ben Simmons is not that – well, let me say, Ben Simmons is important. But remember, Joel Embiid and Boyd, they're both game changers. I think they're both X factors. But it kind of depends on Joel Embiid's move. We said it. When Joel Embiid is healthy and having fun, that's always my narrative for Joel Embiid. He's arguably the best center in the league. When he's not having fun or he's not healthy, he doesn't look that great. Same thing with Ben Simmons. When he's not healthy, he's not that good. But when Ben Simmons is on and he's healthy, I think those two are going to be a dynamic duo. Or they are the dynamic duo. But to go back to your question, I think Ben Simmons is more important to the Sixers this year, and when it comes to playoffs. They know the ball is going to Joel Embiid in the post. So where you got to go, you got to hit him with Ben Simmons and hit him with threes. Then you got to shoot this year. You got to shoot in the playoffs, buddy. You got to shoot.
I'm going to name a series of events that have to happen. And if they all happen,
Okay.
then this team will probably make the NBA Finals. Here's your starting lineup: Ben Simmons, Shake Milton, Josh Richardson,
Mhm.
Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid.
Okay.
Ben Simmons should go off the court when Joel Embiid's on the court, when he needs his breather. And when Joel goes off the court, you bring Horford in. You let Horford play back, and you let Ben go to the rack. Whenever Joel's in, Ben should do what he does always: pass the ball around. Worst case scenario, he takes a jump shot. Hopefully, that's kind of the goal if the shot clock starts running out instead of that extra pass. But Ben Simmons, in my opinion, out of all players in the NBA, has the best ability to cut inside and put the ball through the hoop. He's unstoppable when he does that. Against Cleveland, he tore them apart. Yes, it's Cleveland. I get it. But when Joel's off the court, it's up to Ben to lock down and do his job. And that's why they brought in Al Horford too. Al has to do his job in the playoffs as a role player. I don't care what we're paying Al. I just want to win a ring. I don't think we're going to complain if we win a ring this year. Horford just needs to come off the bench and do his job. It's that simple. Maybe in the last few minutes you can put him at the power forward for defensive purposes. All right, that's number one and number two. Number one, again, the lineup, and number two, what Ben Simmons has to do when Joel is off the court.
So it's 3.
The third point is very, very simple. Tobias Harris just keeps doing what he's doing. He was averaging 20 points before the break, or hiatus, I should say. Tobias Harris, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep being assertive with the ball. The fourth thing, Josh Richardson, off the screens, don't be afraid to shoot the three.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, my fifth point, no stupid turnovers. Don't get fancy with the ball. Keep it simple. And this team can easily win an NBA Finals with the talent that it has.
I feel like that's on everybody's list, the last one. Don't get fancy with the ball.
No stupid turnovers. It comes down to that. It comes to no stupid turnovers. And
If
the
we
Raptors
play-
had 2 back-to-back shot clock violations, including one out of a timeout. I blame Brett Brown for that. But at the same time, someone has to be willing to make that final shot. Someone has to be willing to do something to prevent the turnover. And that, in my opinion, is Ben Simmons' responsibility. It's his third year in the league, his third playoff experience. No excuses for him this year.
I agree, sir. As soon as Ben Simmons been in the playoffs 3 times already. I want to go. Yeah, no, you're right. You're spot on. I like that.
All right, Gavin, anything else you want to state about what the Sixers need to do? How do you think about Shake Milton? Do you think he should be starting at the 2 and move Josh Richardson to the 3?
Yes. First of all, I don't know how tall Shake Milton is, but I think this is once again still considered a really tall team. I think I like Shake Milton. He can shoot the ball. Something we need. We need 2 shooters, and Josh Richardson is a really great defender. I don't know if you noticed, but this team can guard 1 through 5.
I think almost everybody can. Ben Simmons,
Ben Simmons can
Josh
guard 1 through
Richardson,
5.
Joel Embiid, and Al Horford.
So here's my thing, though. I do not, and Brett Brown. I know. Somebody, please send this to Brett Brown. Do not put Al Horford in the game with Joel Embiid. Do not start that. Okay? Do not start that. Do not. Do not do that.
The only time that it works is when Al Horford's making his threes. When he's missing them, then it's a problem. How many threes, Gavin, do you think Joel Embiid should take in a playoff game this year?
So honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of one of those guys. I believe in if it's your day, keep going. If it's not, it's not. I think he should take a minimum of 2 or 3. If you make the first one, all right, Joel. Maybe if you miss the second one, the third one's gonna be the deal breaker. You miss 2 straight, then I'm not. Then no. But I want to see Joel Embiid get low, go down low, and get in the post. You are a tall center. There's only one guy. Well, technically 2 guys in the East, but I don't think we're gonna see Taco Falls. So there's only one guy in the East that can really guard you in the post, and that's Giannis. All right.
And you got to get there. You got to get to that point where you're playing Giannis.
Yeah, but you got to get there first. You're not going to get there right away. Boston is a small
beating
team.
Miami should not be a problem. Bam Adebayo, you should be able to finish.
You should be able to bully Bam Adebayo. Bully. And I know you're not allowed to use that term anymore because that's not nice to do to people. But
what would you give it to Ben Simmons? Let him slam dunk it. No one can stop that. No one can stop that. Use the team strengths. Brett, anyone who thinks it's Brett Brown, this team is not a shooter. You know who can shoot and who can't. Play to your players' talents. Elton Brand gave you a good team. Could he have done better? Absolutely. But there are things you have to do. You have to adapt to what you have right now, or you're out of here.
I will say this. Last one for me. You're right, Brett Brown. I'm gonna say it once and I'll say it again. Do not put Al Horford in the game with Joel Embiid at the same time. That doesn't work. It does not work. Unless at the end of the game when you need better defense, you need to get taller, and you don't want Shake Milton out there. All right, fine, do that. But do not put him in at the start of the game. That's not how it works. When Joel Embiid's on, Al Horford better be off. Enough said.
I agree. And so, Gavin, the final point on this topic, for those who remember that final Miami Heat game where they actually shut us out in a way, the reason that they did that is because they played zone defense. One guy gets the ball, three guys surround him, they go to the next guy. How are we going to break through if something like that happens?
Well, honestly, the only way I see it is you got to be able to shoot the ball. Like you said, one guy gets the ball, three people come around him, so maybe two people because you got the one defender. Whoever that person that's not being double teamed has to hit the three. Whether it's Ben Simmons, because I'm pretty sure they're going to leave Ben Simmons open.
You got to hit them. Ben Simmons needs to shoot three of the team's going to win.
If you don't, Ben, listen to it. And Ben, I love you. And you know what I mean? Like, Ben, even if you don't make the three, show them that you're willing to shoot the three.
Exactly.
I think that's the key though. Whoever double team, whoever's a double teamer, and there's gonna be one person over. There might be two people open. You know, they
all five guys should be able to pull three. If they're there, take it. Take it.
Yeah.
Force them to play man defense.
Yeah.
It's a game of chess in reality. You have to be able to do your job, and if they don't, we know Brett Brown's the problem. So, Gavin,
Brett Brown's the problem. But yes.
What do the Sixers have to do this year to prevent Brett Brown from getting fired in your eyes?
Make it to the finals or make it to the Eastern Conference. But now I'm at the point where I think it's make it to the finals. Last year we had high expectations for this team, and even this year they still had high expectations. They're under exceeding the expectations of the city. And let me be fair, finals was a little too hard, or not hard, but a little too much for me to say. So I'm gonna take it back one. You gotta get out of the second round, Brent. You got to. The second round is your kryptonite. If we are Superman and Kawhi Leonard was kryptonite, we lost last year. The same thing with Boston. And you got to beat Boston this year. Because I think we might be bursting Boston. You have not beaten Boston at all in the playoffs. I remember last year, the first game we beat Boston happened to be the last game against us in the regular season. You went 1 for 3 against Boston this year. Or last year, excuse me. 1 for 3. And this guy has a job. I still believe Brett Brown should have been fired last year and the year before that. I think his time here is way overdue. I want to see some coach, and we can get into this another day. I don't know who you would like the person to see. Personally, I like to see Jay Wright here. I don't know why. I feel like that would be fun to watch. You have success at Villanova. Why not? You come up here. Let's see what happens. If not, it's okay. We try. You know what I'm saying? Billy Donovan made the jump, and well, he had his team lose in the Western Conference to the Warriors. Blew a 3-1 lead. Those don't remember that. They always want to torment the Warriors about it. But Billy Donovan had Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook to work with, and he took them to where they should have been, which is the finals. They should have been in the finals, but they made it 1 under. So, Brett Brown, you got to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. You got to. Especially that everyone's evil and equal this year and playing and stuff, you got to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Got to.
If they get swept by the Bucks, are you firing Brett Brown?
Heck yes. Heck yes. And I'm a firm believer he should have went. Oh, my God, dude. This is like me going off on the Knicks. Look, I'm a firm believer that Brett Brown should have been fired after the Boston series when they lost 3-1. They should have been. I know Kawhi Leonard traveled and hit the shot. I still believe Brett Brown should have been fired there too. Because think about it. There were so many things. Zach, medicines have been taken to another level with our technology now. You're telling me there is nothing we could do at 6 in the morning to get Joel Embiid feeling, I don't know, 50, 60%, 70% by game time? Really, Brent? And I'm gonna just throw this out here, and I want you to think about it, and then we can maybe talk about this tomorrow or something. Do you think Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid respect Brett Brown? Because I don't think so. We beat the Bucks on Christmas Day. That is true. We did. We smacked them. But look, Giannis is not happy. Okay, Giannis got bullied by Kawhi Leonard last year. They are coming for us. They are coming for the East. They're going to the West this year. They want it. How bad do you want it, Brent? How bad do the Sixers want it? That's another question we got to ask. How badly do you think this team wants it?
I think the hiatus gave them an opportunity to reflect, and watching the Last Dance series, Joel Embiid sounds motivated. Let's see if he can back it up.
He says
I'll trace back to the question you asked me. Do you think they respect Brett Brown? I don't know. I mean, the question is, if Joel Embiid gets to red light shooting threes, is he going to listen? That's what we're going to find out. I don't know right now if they respect Brett Brown. Ben Simmons has loved Brett Brown. He's vouched for him year after year, all the players last year. So they must like him to a certain extent. This year might be too much. I think last year, Elton Brand had to make a decision between Brett Brown and Jimmy Butler. It wasn't Ben Simmons.
You should have chose Jimmy Butler.
Should have went with Jimmy Butler. Gavin, some closing remarks on the Sixers before we move on to our next topic.
I'm about to get upset, dude. I'm good.
Go ahead. Closing statement.
Elton Brand. I got a chance to meet you before, Elton Brand. Really nice person. Zach really is. Really nice person.
Duke
boy. Look, if a person like Jimmy Butler said, Brett Brown or me, and you chose him, a coach that can't get you out of the second round, versus a go-getter, rough rider, a dog, and Jimmy Butler, who went to the Heat and who basically exposed you guys the first game in Miami. And I don't know. I really don't know. This better be Brett Brown's last year, where they win or where they lose.
All right, top 2 replacements for Brett Brown. Do you have them? I know you mentioned Jay Wright. You got
Jay
one more?
Wright, and I'm not sure what Greg
Popovich. You feel Mark Jackson?
You know what? I would like Mark Jackson here too, because Mark Jackson was a team builder. For those that don't know, he actually kind of was a foundation of the Golden State Warriors, really. So I will say this: either Jay Wright or I don't know what Greg Popovich's contract is in San Antonio. I don't know if it's ending this year. I would like to see Pop here. I don't know if Pop would leave. I would like to see Pop here, but Jay Wright.
And yes, no, some comments here remembering that we kept Tobias because Jimmy was not going to stay. Did not like how Brett coached. Gavin, you heard the JJ Redick podcast where they're sitting there. They're like, yeah, we had a film session, and we all just sat there in silence. Like, no one was pointing out mistakes. No one was pointing out anything. I think Brett Brown maybe has some issues and maybe isn't a great coach for young players. I think that we need a veteran on those teams. That's why I think Tobias could be one of the most important factors. So, Gavin, did you ever have a chance to listen to some of the excerpts from that podcast between JJ Redick and Jimmy Butler?
You know what? I did. I only listened to I want to say 5 minutes of it. But the 5 minutes I listened to of it, that's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear about Brett Brown. Horrible coach. And I already knew he was a horrible coach. Zach, when have you ever in your life, right? Let's say I'm the coach and you're the player, right? Or I'm the player, you're the coach. Either way. The team, Boston, let's say we're playing against Boston, right? Or let's say we're playing against a team, they're going on like a 12-0 run. Where is the timeout? Where is it? And then I never seen a coach that refuses to make adjustments in game. Football is a game of adjustments, right? You're running the ball. All right, we take the run game. You got to adjust to that. You got to adjust to the pass game. Bada bing, bada boom. If let's say Brad Stevens came out and was like, we're going to do this. You know what Brett Brown would do? He's like, all right, whatever, cool. We'll fix that next game. You can't do that. You can't do that. You really can't. If adjustments are happening, you got to adjust to the adjustments to make the adjustments. Come on now. This is why he's a horrible coach. I'm not talking about Brett Brown as a person. That's not what I'm talking about. I think he might be a nice general guy. I think he might
conversation. No, definitely. It's a different conversation.
I'm not. That's what I'm talking. I'm talking about his ability to coach. I don't think he can coach in playoff games or in any type. His system too, where he hasn't taken a lot of threes. It was cool with JJ Redick. I don't know. Your guys aren't the best 3-point shooters, but you still run the same thing. Look, I can go on and on about Brett Brown, but let's
the amount of threes Al Horford shoots in a game. Imagine being down by I feel like it's in games where it matters the most, and all of a sudden Al Horford and Joel Embiid are pulling up threes and just missing.
Imagine being down by 5, right? To the Cleveland Cavs. I know this didn't happen, but imagine this. Instead of them bullying Tristan Thompson in the post, and instead of bullying Kevin Love in the post, you just tell them to shoot threes. You just tell them to shoot threes. That's just not.
It's a failure to adapt, a failure to adjust. All right, Gavin, we do have a quick mini segment of the mini awards so far for most improved player, MVP, a few other things before we move on to our next topic. So, Gavin, let's start off with the MVP. Who's your MVP pick?
Ooh, see, now this is hard. All right. I got into a talk with my cousin one day after the comments I made about Bradley Beal. He said, but Bradley Beal is doing X, Y, and Z. But I said, if he's doing X, Y, and Z, why is he not in the top 8 in the playoffs? Why is he on the outside looking in? I like Bradley Beal. The Luka Doncic hype kind of died down. I guess I would say, and this pains me to say it. It's between LeBron James for me or Giannis Antetokounmpo again, or maybe James Harden, because James Harden is like a regular season MVP. If MVP trophies were the finals, he would have one already. I honestly think it might go to LeBron James. LeBron James is doing numbers that we don't really see a lot from him. His assists went up tremendously this year. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before you kill me in the comment section, but you're a Jordan guy, I am. But I gotta recognize real. I like what Giannis is doing, but also again, Giannis isn't that high like Giannis, but it's also Giannis for me too. But Zach, I think I'm going with LeBron, but I'm more LeBron, but I'm not that far off from Giannis.
I agree that it's between those two guys. I actually go with Giannis here. I mean, LeBron's a great player, but LeBron also has Anthony Davis and good role players. You mentioned the assists you're up, the points you're up, but what Giannis, it's not choosing Giannis is not a taint on LeBron James's legacy or anything. It literally is just an implication of how much Giannis is doing for his team. Doesn't even average a lot of minutes in games because they blow teams out. Very productive when he's in. Much better free throw shooter, much better shooter altogether this year. He was the MVP last year, and he's better this year. I'm gonna have to go with Giannis, and it's for those reasons. He's working well with his team. It's tougher this year. The film's out there on an elite Giannis from last year, and he only got better. Improved his game, modified where needed, and is one of the best defenders in the league as well.
Well, I agree with you. And you make a valid point about having Anthony Davis, and I'm not going to argue against that because having Anthony Davis is like having two superstars on your team, two all stars, put them together, make one superstar. You got two superstars, that's like a megastar. All right, two LeBron AD, that's a megastar. Like I said, I'm on the fence about LeBron James too. I really do believe it could be Giannis, but I wouldn't be surprised if they gave it to the NBA's golden boy. I think Giannis. Oh, thank you, Phil. Hold on. Giannis still averages 5.8 assists, more rebounds, and points than LeBron. That is true. I do believe it might be Giannis as well. But I can't pick one. I really can't. You also got to look about who has around who they have around him. Obviously, Anthony Davis, Lakers, Giannis, Chris Middleton. But once again, are you going to sit here and say
Middleton's good? No, Middleton's good, but he's no Anthony Davis.
He's not Anthony Davis. So, like I said, I think I'm choosing LeBron, but I'm not choosing by LeBron by like a lot. I'm saying like 5% LeBron, but I do believe it's Giannis. But I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron gets it because LeBron fans are like.
Here's the question to figure out for that: you take Giannis off the Bucks, you take LeBron off the Lakers. Which team does worse?
You take Giannis off the Bucks and put him on the Lakers.
No. You take Giannis off the Bucks and you take LeBron off the Lakers.
So. If you
both teams are without those players.
If you take Giannis off the Bucks, I'll answer this one first. You take Giannis off the Bucks, I don't think they're number one in the East or whatever they are right now.
They're not in the playoffs.
No, they don't have enough. You take LeBron off the Lakers, but Anthony Davis. Remember, Anthony Davis took a trash Pelicans team.
They're still a top 8 seed.
Yeah. So I think Giannis is.
There you go. There's your answer. Giannis is the most valuable player.
Yeah, Giannis is more important to the team. So yeah, I'm going Giannis. But
there you go. Want to switch to LeBron now?
No, you don't got to switch LeBron. Look, we can agree on this.
No, we got it. Well, that's my thought process. My thought process on the most valuable player is you take the player off the team. Which team has the greatest dip? Like a few years ago, you took LeBron off the Cavs and they sunk into the basement. So it's about how valuable that team is. So, and yet Bucks because Lakers still got AD. If Giannis had another all-star, again, Chris Middleton's a great player, but a guy that's not going to carry your team. So that's the MVP. Now let's get to the most improved player. Last year was Pascal Siakam. He could get it again this year. He's actually been really, really better this year. So, Gavin, I'll let you go first. Most improved player, who is it?
I think that's Bradley Beal, actually. Bradley Beal's averaging 30 points a game this year without John Wall, okay? You got to look at this trash Wizards team. They don't got much around them. I'm surprised on the outside looking in. But they're the nice team. They actually get invited to go to Orlando, which is surprising. All right? I think most improved player has to go to Bradley Beal. Averaging 30 points a game. He's keeping his team relevant. He's got his team into the restart, and also too, Bradley Beal is playing at another higher level than what we normally see him as. He hasn't had John Wall for the past year and a half, basically 2 years. So I like Bradley Beal for most improved player of the year.
It's a good pick, especially when you lose an all-star. You're still able to do a lot. And maybe the Wizards can be good after all. Mine's going to Jason Tatum. For those of you who don't know, Sixers Celtics. That's kind of the rivalry in basketball for us Philly fans. So it does hurt to say, especially considering we could have drafted him when we drafted Markelle Fultz. Just to put that out there. So Jason Tatum, most improved player. He's averaging 6 more points this year than his career. He's really molded into a great team player. You take away Kyrie Irving, and you put Kemba Walker in, and he's able to flourish. He's able to be the predominant guy, the small forward that is. Kemba's able to be the playmaker, set them up. It's a great team in Boston. Great coach, great team, great role players. They probably should have still had Al Horford, but Jason Tatum is my most improved player this year.
Can I ask you a question?
Go
what
ahead.
about the case about Devin Booker? Could you see Devin Booker getting it?
You see the playoffs?
No. I'm talking about most improved player. Because remember, Devin Booker got
I'm gonna pull up his stats.
I think Devin Booker is also in the restart. Didn't he get his team to the restart?
I believe so. I was never going to playoffs though.
See if I can
He's averaging 4 more this year than his career average, 4% more. 3-point line, 1% better. His assists are up 3. He's really becoming a good guard. But now, if I had to go top 3, I would probably go Jason Tatum, Pascal Siakam, again, kind of funny for most improved player, improving twice. But number 3, I'd put Bradley Beal, and number 4, I'd probably put Devin Booker.
So my top players to make this would be Bradley Beal. I think Trae Young as well, maybe.
Trae Young, yep.
You could say Pascal. I don't really know. I definitely say Jason Tatum, and then maybe I'll put Pascal. I think those top 3 first, though.
What are your thoughts on Luka? Because he's improved this year. Now, yes, he won Rookie of the Year last year, so you really can't.
You can make a case for Luka for MVP as well.
Right.
I think Luka's in the conversation. I think Luka might be ahead of Trae Young in that category for most improved player. I think he's ahead of Pascal Siakam. But I don't know. I think that's my top right there, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, great. So we got MVP, most improved player. How about Coach of the Year? Do you have one?
Coach of the Year. I think it could be Mike Budenholzer, but it might be Frank Vogel. You take a Lakers team. Didn't make playoffs last year. Obviously LeBron was hurt, and everybody else is a straight garbage around there. You get a new coach. You trade a couple players away. You get Anthony Davis in. And then you make most improved player. You can also make one for Rick Carlisle. I think that's his name on the Mavericks. I think that's what his name is. Don't question me. Someone comment, fact check me if I'm wrong, right or wrong. And then you could also make a case for Mike Budenholzer again. Same thing with Brad Stevens, Eric Spoelstra. I said Brett Brown, no way. But
Steve Clifford's who you're thinking of. Steve Clifford's the Magic head coach.
Steve Clifford, yeah. So one of those guys. I'm a believer in one of those guys. I think more Frank Vogel and Mike Budenholzer and maybe Steve Clifford. Nick Nurse, nobody thought that the Raptors would. Nick Nurse too. Nick Nurse is another good coach.
That's who my pick was going to be. I think Nick Nurse. You lose Kawhi Leonard, you don't miss a step in the regular season. Obviously, we got to see how the postseason plays out. But for anyone that really isn't paying attention to basketball, you look at their record last year, they're defending champs. You look at them this year, they're in second place. Okay, like they were a legitimate shot at the finals because you lost Danny Green, replaced him with Fred VanVleet. He's doing really well this year for them. OG Anunoby instead of Kawhi Leonard, big shoes to fill. Siakam continues to be good. Gasol, who's been in and out of the lineup with injury, so they've had Serge Ibaka off the bench. It's still a very talented team, not as good as they should be. I predicted them to be like a 6 or 7 seed this year. So my personal pick goes to Nick Nurse or Doc Rivers. I know it's a little bit harder to give Doc Rivers it when you have so many all-stars around him, but they were the 8th seed last year. They traded Tobias Harris away, their number 1 star, and then they were obviously able to acquire Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And even when Paul George was out, they were winning. Even when Kawhi takes load management days, they're still winning. So my pick is either Nick Nurse or Doc Rivers.
You're right. Well, you also got to think about too the reason why I don't think Frank Vogel or Doc Rivers might get it, or they're in the top 3. Don't get wrong because of their record, but you also got to remember about who they have around.
Their acquisitions in the offseason.
They got Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. They got Anthony Davis, and they also got Dwight Howard too. I know Dwight Howard's on past his prime, but still Dwight Howard. Nick Nurse. You lose Kawhi Leonard, you lose Danny Green, and then you're right there. You're still not Danny Green. Yeah, I said it right. And then you're right in the where you just left off. So I think Nick Nurse. I think Mike Budenholzer maybe too, because he got them even better. You can make a case for Frank Vogel, Doc Rivers. I think Steve Clifford too, because they wasn't in the playoffs and they're going this year. So yeah, I like any one of those guys.
What about in Miami?
Eric Spoelstra, I like them too. During the playoffs too. Look at this team on paper; they shouldn't really be here. You're like, all right, well, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, how they going to make playoffs? They shouldn't be as high as they are. But Eric Spoelstra, like I said, Eric Spoelstra's not bad. But you could throw him in there too. I don't think he'll win, but you could throw him in there.
What about the team like the Oklahoma City Thunder? They weren't supposed to be in the playoffs this year. This is supposed to be a tank year for them, and they're the 6th seed right now.
You can make a case.
They have the same record as Houston.
You can make a case for Billy Donovan too. Like I said, you got also. I think for me, in my opinion, Coach of the Year is who do they have to work with? Obviously, Frank Vogel and Doc Rivers
Have a lot to work with.
They have a lot to work with. You look at guys like Eric Spoelstra. You got Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and a whole bunch of youngsters. You look at Nick Nurse. You lose Kawhi Leonard. Like I said, you got Pascal still. Steve Clifford, Luka improved way better this year. You get Chris Stapps, you're in the playoffs this year. So I think it's going to be hard for Frank Vogel and
Doc Rivers to win
Doc Rivers to make it or to get it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't get it too. But those guys should be ahead of those two.
I agree. You're right. It's what you work with. So in that theory, Nick Nurse is up there, Billy Donovan, Eric Spoelstra, all doing phenomenal jobs this year for their teams equally. So that's an interesting one. So basketball, that wraps up our chat here in basketball. We're excited for 29 days or 28 days, actually. It's going to be the 30th tip-off. I believe the Pelicans and Clippers is the first game. So, Gavin, are you excited? We're getting closer to basketball coming back. Hopefully, depending on some of the virus situation, if they can do everything correctly, the season can actually occur. Are you excited?
I am excited, but I'm also have a fear that this restart might not happen at all. You know, they always talk about, well, the bubble is this and the bubble is that. You guys remember when back in the day you used to blow bubbles, either with like actual bubbles where like, you know, dipping in the stick or bubblegum bubbles. What happens? They always pop. Meanwhile, they always pop. I mean, it takes one person. They always like, well, we're just going to continue play. You're locking
one person.
One person can shut down a whole bubble almost, or at least a hotel. If they're really active, like if they're one of those guys that sit in the room and don't come out the room and only come out when it's game time or something else to eat. Okay, then I'm like, all right, well, that's not a big deal. But if they're like an active type bubble person where like they're interacting with everybody around there, that could be a problem. I see this restart happening, but I don't think this restart is going to stay. I don't think the NBA is going to be playing for long after the restart. I give them about 5 games and something's going to happen. I'm not wishing bad. You know me, I don't like to wish bad. I like to see basketball. I don't think this restart will happen or at all. I'm going to fix my camera.
We'll have to see what happens. Diligent testing. I think we went over that before. So I know we went a little bit lengthy today with basketball, but it was a pretty good conversation. We have about 17 minutes left. Let's talk about this. The NFL has canceled preseason games 1 and 4. Gavin, here's my 2 questions for you. First, thoughts on shortening the preseason to only 2 games, and could that be something for the future? And number 2, what could this potentially mean for an actual NFL season if they're already canceling games now?
Well, first of all, I think they should cancel the entire preseason, right? I think they should cancel the entire preseason. I think that what they need to do is they also should take the season, right? And take it maybe if it's too risky to be traveling across here and there. First of all, there should be no international games at all this year. London.
Yep, that's one of the things they canceled.
Yeah, no London, no
Mexico.
Which I know there's a lot of money that lost, especially in London. So now I gotta go back to it, the season. Well, how would you feel? And let me before I can get to my answer. How would you feel if the NFL were to do something like what baseball's doing?
Keeping changing the schedule, or
meaning like NFC East versus AFC East, or maybe you could do maybe you could do like NFC East and like NFC South, because I know they're all relatively close to each other. And the AFC East and the AFC South or something. Or no, the AFC North.
In my opinion, it just comes down to the frequency of testing. I think that's the key. If we can have fast result testing where you can come in every day to the facility, get tested, get your results before you go in, that's the way it's going to be done. I don't think it matters if you're local or not. I think those are just an optic standpoint. In my opinion, the only way that you can actually return to stuff without a herd immunity or a vaccine or a magical pill that could help, perhaps an antiviral drug that could help. Unless one of those three things happens, what we need is the frequency of testing. All right, you wake up in the morning, you get tested. Okay, I'm negative. I can go on with my day. Then there's no problems whatsoever with that because of the viruses that you could get. But the coronavirus obviously is the top concern right now. So I think that's going to be the biggest element. And I think by November, they should be able to have testing daily for players, not the nose one, but the saliva testing. They're trying to perfect. In my opinion, while people are working on vaccines, while our frontline workers are doing whatever they can to help people and keep people alive and keep people healthy, we need to be working on having saliva-based testing. I believe they're trying to work on that to get rapid results. Otherwise, it can be difficult. Temperature checks are obviously something important. Constantly just being aware, okay, am I breathing fine? Do I have a sense of smell? Things like that. I don't think it makes a big difference as far as traveling to other places as long as you're using a private plane. You're all in a tight bubble, so you can pretty much quarantine a team. But that's my question too, Gavin. Will they have to be flexible with bye weeks if the team needs to be quarantined and they keep playing in the NFL? What would you foresee a situation like that being?
Well, I think bye weeks are going to be more strict than they used to be. Before, a bye week means you can do whatever you please. I think now the bye week is going to be you can't leave the city, you can't leave that state. You know what I mean? Like you can't leave your home team's like area or what consider would be their territory. People may think that might be a little harsh, but remember, ladies and gentlemen, the NBA is sticking a whole bunch of players in a bubble.
Yep.
At least the NFL, you can go home. They're just probably going to ask, like, hey, no international travel, no travel in general. You just got to stay around the area. That's all we ask. And I think that's a problem, too. Like, the area of what you're asking for it's not bad. You get to go home, right? These guys, NBA players are, stuck in a whole different other state that has nothing to do with where they all NBA teams except for the Magic play at. Let that sink in for a second. So now I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna restart. I don't think the NFL cancels this game. I think honestly the NFL might be the only season that starts on time. Remember, a lot of players wear gloves, right? I think the only problem that might be a little bit difficult is the sideline. But honestly, if you watch Korean baseball, not everyone wears a mask there. I think if you're doing constant testing, you should be okay.
That's the key, constant testing. You see politicians and news people who aren't wearing masks, that's because they're getting constant testing. That's what the key is. Obviously, it's uncomfortable to be doing that every day. That's why we want faster paced testing. So, Gavin, my final question to you on this topic: if the NFL season were to be shortened or adjusted, maybe now preferably we're going to focus on shortening, what team would benefit the most from it?
Teams like the Chiefs, teams like the Ravens, teams like Cam Newton's new team, teams like the Eagles. Teams that but if you want an honest answer, I think teams like the Ravens. The Ravens are built. So you got to think about a shortened season, less hits Lamar Jackson, has to take. That means he'll be even better or even more fresh than when the playoffs come around. Same thing with Patrick Mahomes. Same thing with Carson Wentz. Same thing with Cam Newton. Same thing with the last season. I think the quarterbacks benefit longer. They don't take that many hits. And I know a guy in Texas would love that. Deshaun Watson gets killed every game, basically. They can't protect him to save their life. So I think if they were to shorten the season, I don't think he'll be complaining about it, will he?
And so you mentioned Texas. I'm going to go to the Dallas Cowboys, and here's why. The Cowboys tend to have a strong start, and the second they face adversity, they collapse. Shorter season means less adversity, which means they might actually be able to win some games. So my choice is the Dallas Cowboys.
You think the Cowboys will?
And Cowboys benefit the most. Amari Cooper doesn't get into his head like he did late in the season when they completely collapsed. New coaching staff, I think for them a shorter season will be substantially beneficial.
I think Cowboys don't benefit from this, and it's not even from the playing standpoint, it's from the money standpoint. A lot of teams, me and the Cowboys, ladies and gentlemen, they're broke. They don't have enough money to pay for their – let me not say broke because that makes it seem like they actually have enough money. They don't have enough money to pay everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cowboys are about to be like a garage sale because all their players are about to bounce. First come, first serve. That's what it's going to feel like because they can't pay them all. So we're just going to see how that goes. But I think the Cowboys don't benefit from it from a financial standpoint.
No, you're right. It's going to be scary for them coming the next few years. They're going to be in a really bad cap situation. So, everyone, we have one more segment coming up after this. We have our debate. We'll be debating if Jameis Winston can still be a starter in the NFL. That and our closing statements after this.
Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can.
Apologies for that, folks. We were on mute. What I was saying is just we will be donating to Shriners Hospital for Children, and we will be deciding this month for July who will be donating to, so stay tuned for that. Again, the links are in the description. And now, the final debate of the day.
Oh,
Winston, an NFL starter. He currently is the backup for the New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees has 2 years left on his contract. He's getting up there in age. So Winston gets an opportunity to sit back and watch a really accurate passer, talking about interceptions, turnovers, things like that. So, Gavin, I'll let you go. Do you think Jameis Winston, A, deserves another shot, and B, is a starting caliber quarterback?
my guy, Mr. 30 for 30 himself. And I'm not talking about ESPN's 30 for 30, even though you guys should watch that because that's kind of fantastic, some of the stuff they have on there. I'm talking Mr. 34 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, 5,000 passing yards. It was 5,000 this year, right?
Crazy.
It was crazy. So you're telling me there was games where he threw 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Now, let me get back to the other side. Do I believe he deserves to be starting in the NFL again? Heck yeah. Look, Ryan Fitzpatrick, right? Fitzmagic. He's a 2-game wonder, right? The first 2, they go 2-0, and then they lose the rest of the year. If there's a place for Jameis Winston to be, it's right where he is. You're learning behind sometimes a good guy, Drew Brees. I don't really care for him right now at the moment. Drew Brees, and you're working with Sean Payton. And think about the pieces around him. They got Alvin Kamara's probably going to be locked into a contract pretty soon. Michael Thomas isn't going anywhere soon. They got Emmanuel Sanders there now. This defense is legit. They just got me. Well, just ask how Minnesota feels about their defense. But still, I think Jameis Winston honestly Jameis Winston might be the starter after next year. I don't think they really want Drew Brees after next year. I don't think they want Drew Brees after this year. That's why it took them so long to get the 2-year deal going on. I think if there's a spot where Jameis wants to be, is right here, right now. You learn a year, and then you come out and you work. You work with Michael Thomas, but you can make the argument and say, but Gav, he had Chris Godwin, and he had Mike Evans, and he had O.J. Howard. I know, but look at the offensive line. It wasn't the greatest. You go to here where you got Ryan Ramczyk, Terod Armstead. I hope I said it right, and I'm not too sure about everybody else. But you got those guys. You're behind them. All right? They're going to protect you. Yes, Drew Brees went down with an injury, but whatever. He ran with the ball. Okay, whatever. But I think this is a perfect spot. I think it's a perfect situation. And if there's another spot for him to go, it would have been New England. But I think New England's going to be satisfied with Cam Newton. So I think it's right here where he is right now.
It's a good point. I'll put it to you this way. He's been in the league for 4 years. This will be his 5th season when he's now going to the Saints. Never got an extension, anything like that. Didn't deserve an extension, in my opinion. He was never a major winner. Always had turnover issues. He actually got his eyes fixed this offseason. That could have been a big factor. 33 touchdowns, 5,000 yards is fantastic when you have no run game. Bruce Arians' play style is not for him. You're right, Sean Payton. He'll actually run the ball. He'll give you some opportunities to be able to relax and take the pressure off of you. And most importantly, he gets an opportunity to sit and learn. He was the first overall pick in the draft. He won a national championship. There is no more pressure and spotlight than in that situation. I feel for him a lot. I think this is the perfect opportunity for him. He's not an NFL starter right now, not an NFL caliber starter. But you're right, Gavin. He has the pieces around him. He's going to learn behind Drew Brees for at least a year. He's going to sit there, watch film, break it down, maybe come in at the end of some games. Wouldn't shock him if he comes in, throws a pick 6 next year. But I think that if he gets to the team of things, he gets to practice, he has to work with some talented players. I think that Jameis Winston can be an NFL starter. I think he is the future in New Orleans. He just needs to get a little better. He has to learn. He has some good sides, also his bad sides. So he's got to clean that up.
I will say this, ladies and gentlemen, or anybody. First of all, Zach, that was a little call for to say his first catch is going to be a pick six. We know it's going to happen, but you don't got to say that to the people. You don't got to say that to the people.
I don't know where you're going there for a minute. I'm like, wait a minute.
You don't got to say that to the people, all right? We already know he's going to throw a pick in his first play. It's probably going to go back for 6. That's what he did in his first. Actually, I think
his first pass and last pass were pick
first
sixes.
pass was a pick 6,
Great.
yeah. So
Sam Darnold also threw pick sixes on their first.
Sam Darnold doesn't see anybody, so it doesn't matter what Sam Darnold does. I think Sam Darnold needs to get his eyes checked too, because if he's seen Casper the Friendly Ghost, and Casper the Friendly Ghost is picking up passes and not going through his body, I don't know what's going on. Now let me get back to the point here. Jameis Winston will be fine. I think you learn, and it's not about learning under Drew Brees, because Drew Brees isn't a winner that much either. Okay, they're a bunch of crybabies down there in New Orleans. But I will say this though, Emmanuel Sanders is no joke. He worked with Peyton Manning, won a Super Bowl.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Did he win a Super Bowl there? I don't think so.
He was there with them against Green Bay, I think.
And then, so you got to look at the quarterbacks you work with. Work with Ben Roethlisberger. You work with Peyton Manning, and I'm not really too sold on this next dude, Jimmy Garoppolo. And then he's going to be working with Drew Brees. And then he gets to work with you. And it's not even about those. It's about the man at the helm. Jameis Winston is going to get to work with. Sean Payton. Jameis Winston is straight hot garbage. I agree, he is. But look, he got new eyes, Mr. Bob Money. He got new eyes, so maybe he might be able to see more. I still think Sam Darnold needs to get his eyes checked, because like I said, if you see nobody, I don't know, it's kind of scary. But I think this is going to be a great opportunity for Jameis Winston. I don't know if he's going to have success, like playoff success, but I think he'll have better than 30 for 30. I hope.
No, you made a good point. It's unfair for him. He got, he threw the ball like 55 times a game last year. It was crazy, and so I'm curious if Tom Brady's going to be able to do the same. No one shocked me if Tom Brady's picks are up the amount of times he's forced to throw it down there. You need a run game in the NFL, except for maybe Patrick Mahomes, but he's an exception. You need a run game, and so I think that Jameis Winston lacked that. An opportunity to learn and a better situation and a better coach. Jameis Winston will succeed as a New Orleans Saint, assuming that he is able to fix those turnovers. If he fixes the turnovers, then they're probably a 11-5 team last year. So they were 8-8 if they didn't throw a pick six against the Falcons in overtime.
Oh, you're going to live on to, aren't you?
Gonna have to. Pick six for Jameis Winston. I don't even know if he gets bothered by interceptions anymore. It's kind of like,
He probably doesn't. He doesn't. You know, quarterbacks like flip out. They're like, like that. He's like,
he just watches the film. He's like, all right, cool.
He's all right. Another one. He's like, next time I want to do, I'll just throw a little bit higher. So he has to jump for it.
I remember watching the Texans game against I think it was Saturday game, the first one of the triple header.
Was it the Christmas one? The holiday one?
Yeah, it was the week of Christmas. And so he threw the ball. First throw of the game was a pick six. And the second one, his second throw was also a pick six, but it was called back to the 1 yard line. So it was just like so funny. So Texans, if you had a Texans defense in fantasy, you had 22 points off the bat. So it's crazy.
Without them scoring.
Just take whatever defense is against. Take whatever defense against Jameis Winston that game. You'll get a lot of points.
Same thing, yeah. Every time if Jameis Winston's playing, even if it's the Jets defense, take him. Heck, and whoever Sam Darnold's playing against too, take them.
Do you think you can get Casper the Friendly Ghost on fantasy or no?
Hey, if he's playing against Sam Darnold, I think we can.
All right, we'll have to see about that.
Defense will Casper Friendly Ghost.
All right, well, folks, thanks for tuning in to our show today. Much appreciated. Special edition tomorrow, Gavin's birthday. Very exciting. We'll see you all tomorrow. And until next time, you can go to our YouTube channel, take a look at some of the videos. Our full interview with DeMarco Murray is on there, as well as with Don Amoroso. We're going to continue to upload excerpts from our videos as we continue. But until next time, everybody, enjoy.
Be united